On today's Cardinals squad show, Mike LaFleur hired and also speaks to the media. Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show and host of Locked On Phoenix Suns. We got a lot of things to talk about, and we will do so next.
Yeah, now that Mike LaFleur is hired, who will be the quarterback for the Cardinals and what coordinators will be coming to Arizona to join Mike LaFleur? Let's go.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up, and welcome in to yet another edition of the Locked On Cardinals Squad Show. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making this show and us a part of your day. Remember, Locked On Cardinals Squad Show is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So smash that like, hit that subscribe, hit that ring notification button, and you know that you'll be able to find us on all podcast platforms, including here on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer and bet just $5, you get $200 in bonus bets if you win. For the first time in when it happened, 27 long days that the Arizona Cardinals did not have a head coach. From Jonathan Gannon getting fired to Mike LaFleur getting hired, the Cardinals finally have a head coach. They have a head at the snake, and we'll get into his introductory press conference, how it was commanded, some of the softball questions that were thrown up by reporters that I didn't love. Jamil, what was your reaction when you saw Mike LaFleur did end up taking this job after the Cardinals went up to Seattle? And I think it just was like a business trip. They just wanted to see the state and wanted to have a reason to write it off. So they met with Clint Kubiak for half an hour. What was kind of your take on it?
I think the Cardinals got the guy that they wanted outside of, maybe Vance Joseph was up there as well. I think they knew that Clint Kubiak was a long shot in terms of his affiliation with maybe going to the Raiders, but I think they got the guy they wanted. It seems as if there's always been some synergy, I guess, between the two in terms of Mike LaFleur and then the organization. And when you look at where this division has gone the last couple of years with the, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, obviously Mike Macdonald on the defensive side of things. But when you look at it, you need someone that is cut from that cloth. And I think that, this hire, this doesn't feel like a bridge hire. This feels like someone that will be able to, with given the right resources, kind of get this organization headed in the right direction.
Yeah, this is a guy that I've been talking about for a couple weeks now, ever since we kind of got down to that initial finalist list that I think also featured Vance Joseph at the time, but we weren't really sure if that was real or not. I don't know if the Cardinals got their number one guy. I think they got a guy they wanted, which I think is more fair to say than some of the other people that we knew that they initially wanted. Regardless, we know they called John Harbaugh, which means they probably wanted John Harbaugh more. They didn't go bark up the Kevin Stefanski tree, likely because he was close to the Jonathan Gannon coaching tree, and they wanted to get away from that. You had the Clint Kubiak visit. Do I think they got their third or fourth guy? Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's fine.
And that's fine. And the reasoning why I think that's fine is because this coaching cycle was littered with really good candidates, and I don't think they get Mike LaFleur in other coaching carousels because John Harbaugh wasn't available. Sean McDermott, who ended up not getting a job, is available. Kevin Stefanski, whoever it is, right? One of those guys helped push Mike LaFleur down the list. And so at the end of the day, I think they did get one of the guys they wanted, and I'm excited for it, man. You got someone down from the Sean McVay coaching tree where everything is leaning offense. I think this year is the anomaly where the defense has dominated and now they're in the Super Bowl. But I don't know how familiar you are with Mike LaFleur, but if you're familiar with the Sean McVay or the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, is it easy, in your opinion? Easy is the wrong word. Is it doable to recreate what Shanahan, what LaFleur, what McVay do? Because that's kind of the tree that he's coming from.
Right, correct. I think
I guess what's fair expectations, I guess I should say.
Sure. We kind of heard that question asked in the press conference in terms of, someone bringing up, you guys majored in 13 personnel when you were with the Rams. Do you see that being implemented here? And Mike LaFleur gave the answer of like, we're going to cater to what these guys can do best. And so while it may not look like Sean McVay's offense, or it may not look like Kyle Shanahan's offense, you're going to be able to marry things together. Where I feel like the Cardinals have always lacked in terms of their offense is pre-snap motions, getting creative after the ball is snapped in terms of route concepts, not just having Marvin Harrison Jr. running deep on the sideline, being able to kind of mix it up, put him inside, and vice versa with Michael Wilson, things like that. And so I think, we're going to get a version of it. They have good skill players. They have 2 receivers. And so you'll be able to open the playbook up in terms of what the route tree looks like. The big question obviously is who will be throwing the ball. And that matters in terms of how this offense looks, because you have to have a seasoned quarterback and be able to execute this offense.
When we talk about the press conference today and him finally speaking with the media, I'm not in the room. I'm not a player. I don't understand this. And I think that's fair to say. You are a former player. Is Mike LaFleur someone to you, from what you watched today and from his extensive background, they wanted someone who was a leader? Does this guy feel like a leader to you? I know that's a hard. I think I know the answer, and I'm not, because like before we get that, because it doesn't sound like it's great. Mike McDaniel wasn't a leader. Great scheme guy, got to the playoffs. Does he feel like that guy?
He doesn't feel like. No. To me, he doesn't feel like a Mike McDaniel in terms of leadership style. I'll say this because I don't want to come off as, just kind of throwing anything out there. And this is so cliche. Leaders come in all different shapes and sizes. And what makes him great, I think, as a leader is we'll find out, right? Like what we know about Mike LaFleur, he's not the yeller, he's not the screamer, he's not the, the get on you type of guy. But sometimes those coaching styles work when players really love the coach and they're willing to go to battle for that. And, I spent the time around Sean McVay. I spent time around Mike Vrabel and Dan Quinn. Like all of those guys have different leadership capabilities. The supporting staff is going to be huge. Who he gets as a coordinators, the guys buy in and things like that. I don't want to say that he doesn't seem like a leader because we didn't see some fiery press conference with all the, the quotes that we want to get out of it, because there's different styles to every coach.
Yeah. Clancy, sorry. I was going to say, we're talking about the leadership here for Mike LaFleur. And if he feels, because that was the guy, that's what they talked about. That's what they wanted. One of the things they wanted was a leader of men. And I asked Jamil, like, is this the kind of guy you think gets players off the couch and ready to run through a wall? I don't know. What's kind of your thoughts on it too, Clancy?
Yeah, you could tell he's a football nerd for sure. Like you could tell this dude, I mean, he's lived in football. His dad coached at Central Michigan or whatever. Like he's been around the game. So, I know you mentioned Mike McDaniel and stuff, like he's quirky. So let's look over the last 3 introductory press conferences. The first one, Cliff Kingsbury wasn't able to talk. He's like, I'll let Steve Keim answer that. And then Jonathan Gannon went with the weird hand movement to Rondale Moore and then did the fire in the gut and the bus thing. That's all people remember. And this was one where it's like, hey, that's Sean McVay light that they're talking to. That's it. That's what Sean McVay would say during introductory press conference where he's never been a head coach before. Seems weird, seems kind of in your face. He rambles, but he's kind of on point with everything. It's like, this was one where I'm just like, yeah, that sounds good. Didn't sound political like Steve Wilkes did. Like, just sounded like a normal dude talking about football.
For sure. What it was, well, and what it was, is managing expectations. Like, we got to remember this guy was, the offensive coordinator for the Jets, didn't end well. I think he's done a ton of thinking around how do I manage expectations around the fan base. They said, oh, is this a turnaround year? Will you be able to get it done in year one? He's like, I'm not even thinking about the games right now. Like, his mindset is, I'm really going to try to build this thing from the ground up, and we'll see what happens. I'm not going to tell you guys we're going to go out and win 12 games and be competing for this or that. I'm going to start from ground up, which I respect out of, a coach going into a press conference when someone asked them that question. I respect the process of, I got to get in here and figure out what we're going to do and who we're going to be before I can give you answers on that.
While we're talking about like the highlights, and honestly, I don't think there were really any lowlights from the press conference, which is a good thing. Like, I don't think he's going to make the headline on ESPN for this massive, great quote he said, but I also don't think he's going to be on there for any of the wrong reasons. Like some of the things that Clancy mentioned right away with Jonathan Gannon or with Cliff Kingsbury, where we got some not so great moments, but I guess those didn't stick out for the worst ways either. Not only did he sound prepared, but one of the things that I really wanted from the next Cardinals head coach, which is one of the reasons why you could push back on the Stefanskis or the Harbaugh or the McDermotts that might just be taking this job for the money that the Cardinals would have to throw at them. He felt like he really wanted to be here. And that felt like a seamless thing for me. Talked about when Michael Bidwell extended the open hand, which I didn't even think about, to the Rams for the fires and for coronavirus when they came over here. I thought that was, okay, so there's a relationship there that you've at least seen a bridge built. He's been with the facility. He's been around the facilities, whether coaching there for a home game for the playoffs or coaching against the Cardinals. It didn't seem like it was like a massive bridge to gap from him going from the Rams to the Cardinals. And it felt like he really wanted to be here and felt excited to be here. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that because they would have hired him after 2 days in the desert if that were actually the case. They wouldn't have done the Clint Kubiak thing. They wouldn't have he wouldn't have waited to see if the Raiders were going to hire him over Clint Kubiak. I think this was much more of an arranged marriage than just, this is what it was supposed to be. They would have hired him after he wined and dined him Tuesday night before the Clint Kubiak thing happened, right? I mean, why would the Clint Kubiak thing happen if he was their guy number one? Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think you're right. I think he was number 2 on the list in terms of,
and they were number 2 for him.
Yeah, I think that was the reality of it, and they. That being said, there was still some sort of connection from past experiences that made him feel like this was the place for him to be. But yeah, I think he was definitely a number 2 or number 3.
Well, I guess I should clarify that then. I'm not saying that it was the Cardinals' number 1 guy. It's something Jamil and I talked about before you hopped in, Clancy. But it felt like he wanted this job because he did have the option to stay back with the Rams, potentially sign for another year with them. Maybe that was never in the cards, but it seemed like maybe he had that chance. What I'm saying is it felt like he wanted to be here and excited to be here. And I do think that matters at least a little bit for even if the Cardinals were his second option.
Yeah, I think this is a 1 of 32 thing for sure. And I think this excited thing, the thing he said where, a year ago, I thought to myself, one day I'm going to be an Arizona Cardinals head coach. Okay.
Yeah, that's
sure.
Yeah,
I don't buy that one.
Yeah.
Either.
Now, I do want to ask Jamil.
It was a nightmare.
I did want to ask Jamil this because I know we're going to run a little long. I don't really care. There's about 10 dudes there. Mac Wilson, Michael Wilson, Will Johnson, among others. How important is it that current players fly in? Because most of them aren't here, who don't live here, or they're on vacation or whatever. How important is it for current players to be at an introductory press conference, or does it really not matter? Like, are there any optics where it matters or not?
I don't think that anyone looks at it in terms of like, oh, this is a good or bad thing. Obviously, it's a positive, right? You got guys that came in because they want to obviously meet the head coach and they want to shake his hand and just kind of, put a face to the name and kind of introduce themselves and things like that. But I don't take it as a bad thing when guys don't. It is what it is. The coach has been picked by the organization. Regardless, he's going to be there. The good thing is, like, you have 10 guys that show up. If you had 0, it's like that's when you, I guess, can consider it a bad thing. But I look at it as one of those things where, you know, the guys are supportive of the hire, and they wanted to come in and just kind of, you know, greet the head coach. And there's conversations that happen within that. Hey, come to my office, we'll talk, things like that. And so you can get a head start on some things, some conversations that you would have to have when guys report. You can kind of have those prior to that whole thing happening.
But it's not like so say it's, you know, Budda Baker wasn't there and Kyler Murray wasn't there. And, you know, irrespective of what we think is going to happen with Kyler Murray in the future, it's like, those aren't bad looks. It's a nothing thing.
Yeah. It's a nothing thing.
For a new head coach, it seems like a really big deal to me, being the layman.
I mean, you know, these guys, some of these guys are out of the country. Some of these guys are at the Pro Bowl. Like, you know, some of these guys are at different spaces and different time periods in their lives. And so I'm sure, like he said, he spoke to Kyler Murray over the phone. I'm sure there was a FaceTime, you know, if Monty Ossenfort sees fit, hey, give Budda Baker a call. I'm sure there was a FaceTime call, you know, and things like that, that transpired, or a phone call at least, just because they're not able to show up. Like I said, some of these guys are out the country and doing their thing, but I'm sure there was a phone call given for sure.
So a few different spots of that. Not only are players out of the country, but this is one of the biggest media weeks of the year over in San Francisco during Radio Row.
Sure.
I've been there over the last couple of years. I know this from I experience. I know people mention Trey McBride. I can't confirm he's at Radio Row, but he's been there the last 3 years doing veterans thing. I forgot what it was that he does with them. Wounded Warrior Project. He works with them. So that's a reason why he's not there, I'm sure. Budda Baker's in the Pro Bowl. So that's another one as well. What I will say is there was nearly 20 players there. And it was some players like Sean Murphy Bunting, who forgot you were on the team, dude. Is it at least, does the amount of players, Jamil, speak to you that like, okay, this is at least being received well by the players? Or again, nothing thing. Not much with 5 players, not much with 20 players.
It's a good thing. I don't want to get mistaken. It's a good thing, but I don't want to put too much thought or weight into it, because it is the off season. A lot of these guys, some of these guys live here in Arizona. It's the best time of year to be here in Arizona. And so, you know, some guys are here and then some guys are not able to. And the luxury of having technology, we can FaceTime whenever we want. And so if this was, you know, 25 years ago and there was no FaceTime, maybe we could kind of put some merit to it. But I think, you know, 20 guys is great. You know, you obviously, as a head coach, you love to see when you walk in that there's players from the past regime in there, because it means that they're receiving and they're willing to hear what you have to say. Some of these guys just they don't know who Mike LaFleur is at all, and they want to just get a feel for who he is and what he talks about and how he moves. And so I don't want to put too much weight into it, but it's a good thing for sure.
Really good stuff. We got 85 of you guys in here. Do me the favor, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. We're going to come back in just a second talking about the Kyler Murray dilemma. He wasn't there today. People have pointed out that there's been no social media posts, kind of 0 dark 30 for Kyler Murray on the new head coach of Mike LaFleur. How much that has to play with it? And could Mike LaFleur potentially pick him to be his quarterback for next year? We'll talk about the pros, we'll talk about the cons, and we'll do it next. Today's episode is brought to you by the folks over at Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast, whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees. Gusto helps you do it from all in one place without the hassle or hidden fees. Unlimited payrolls run for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits save business owners hours every week. And knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime gives you real peace of mind. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/lockdown and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months free. payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL. One more time. That's gusto.com/LockedOnNFL. Today's episode is also brought to you by the folks over at FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one final kickoff. The final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of the action with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season, make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to the final whistle. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl season is over, last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. One of the elephants in the room was Kyler Murray. Was not there. Again, according to Jamil, probably nothing. No social media posts from Kyler talking about him. Really zero dark 30 from Kyler ever since he has gone on the IR, or the soft benching, if you will. And that's kind of where the now, I think, next question turns with Mike LaFleur. Who will be his quarterback? Clancy, we've kind of talked about this around circles. Where are you at now that Mike LaFleur is officially the head coach and the Kyler Murray spot? Keep him, let him stay. Is it Mike LaFleur's decision? Where are you at?
They're going to trade him. I don't think anything changes. We're going to the year 8, not year 3. I don't know. Mike LaFleur has never coached a quarterback under 6 feet. So this isn't like, oh, you know what? I've got an offense. It's going to work. It's like, no, we don't know that. Also, he's never run an offense with a quarterback under 6 feet. So I don't think that it matters. I think that he's gone. I think that he's probably going to do well wherever he goes. I mean, depending on where it is. I think he's more valuable to the Cardinals as draft capital than as a football player at this point. So it doesn't matter if him and Mike LaFleur can maybe catch lightning in a bottle. The better opportunity would be for him to go play football elsewhere, and the Cardinals hopefully get, a late first round or second round pick as part of a package.
Yeah, the comments didn't seem too promising in terms of what Mike LaFleur said when someone asked him about if he had spoken to Kyler Murray. He said, we touch base, and I've had a lot of respect for him, and it was never easy going against him. That, to me, it says two things. One, it's not Mike LaFleur's decision on who's going to be his quarterback. The organization is going to handle that. And then
with his input, I would assume. I don't think that he's going to be completely in dark, right?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. But I think what I mean by that is this was already an established thing when he took the job, is like, we are going to be moving on from Kyler Murray. You're going to have some draft capital, whatever the case may be, given what we can get for him. And then the other thing that it says is that, let's see, lost my train of thought there. It says, one, they made their decision. And then two, Mike LaFleur isn't, he's not going to bat for Kyler Murray. He's not putting himself in a position where it would have been completely different if he said, touch base with him. A lot of respect for him. He's a hell of a player, and I'd much rather have him on our team than, playing against them. He didn't say that. And so it shows to me that there's been conversations in terms of where Kyler will be. He won't be on the Cardinals next year. And, moving forward, they're going to operate as if there will be no Kyler Murray.
Yeah, because here's the thing. The 2027 draft, by many draft pundits who I trust, I've been texting guys, obviously the national people a couple guys who I don't have any relationship with, are saying 2027 could be that draft for the ages. So when you're looking at where the Cardinals are now and looking how far they need to go, but if they put together 2 solid off seasons and the second one culminating with that 2027 draft, and you have extra capital for that draft, that is far more important to the Cardinals as they currently sit than hoping it works out with Kyler Murray and running it back. I don't care if he was done wrong by this team, which he wasn't. He got plenty of opportunities. Sure, Cliff, he won despite of Cliff, and who knows what the hell happened with Drew Petzing. We're not going to point fingers at this point. But at this point, Dane Cook do you know who Dane Cook is, Ben?
Yeah, I know Dane Cook.
You know who Dane Cook is?
He's a comedian.
Dane Cook had this great joke. I think maybe we did this last where it's like, why don't relationships end this way? You know, a guy and a girl, you know, whoever's dating, look at each other on the bed. They're like, this is bleeping over, isn't it? Cool. High five. And you just go. That's what should happen now. Find a spot for him, get him out of here, get some draft capital, and move on.
Jamil, should it be Mike LaFleur's decision? This is something I've been I'm not necessarily advocating for the return of Kyler Murray. I'm kind of on the same boat of Clancy would like spend 7 years. If he goes and works out elsewhere, you know, God bless the guy. But I feel like it should be this could be Mike LaFleur's only chance of being a head coach. Shouldn't it be his decision to decide who's going to determine his fate at quarterback? Or do you think it should be, we're done here? We can't do it anymore.
I mean, in some sort of fashion, it kind of is his decision. You know, when I'm sure they presented this to him as a part of, you know, what you're taking on with being the head coach of the Cardinals, and he ultimately is the head coach of the Cardinals. And so he agreed, you know, that, you know, if he thought different, he probably wouldn't have taken the job, you know, but he thinks that, you know, they're going to head in the right direction. He said something very clear to me. I like to take I like to take things out of context with new head coaches because they haven't really been schooled on like what you shouldn't say. But he said, I wanted to go to a place that was all in on from the organization down on winning. And so that to me, as much as we talk about Michael Bidwell and things like that, that means that they've had a conversation that to get this thing going in the right direction, they need to kind of, you know, go a different direction from Kyler Murray. And so I feel like as an offensive-minded head coach, your first question is quarterback. What are we doing there? And so in order for him to say, I wanted to be with an organization that was in line with doing that, that means that was at the forefront of the conversations. And so he kind of did make a decision to, I guess, move on from Kyler Murray, even though it was made prior to him getting there.
Yeah, the ass backwards part about this is he's worked with Jacoby Brissett's body type the entire time he's been a coordinator. He knows what a non-mobile quarterback is. I think it was Jimmy G in San Francisco, and then Zach Wilson, the Travis Sham mockery that happened with the Jets doesn't really count. But like Matthew Stafford is 6 years older than Jacoby Brissett. He's probably still more fleet of foot, but he knows what you got to protect the pocket. He's got to move from the pocket, and you've got to be able to utilize a guy with that skill set. You could almost make an argument that Jacoby Brissett will better fit Mike LaFleur's offense than Kyler Murray because he's done it. This is what the offense is. We don't know if he's going to call the plays right, but
yeah, I'm sure he's excited in terms of like what he saw from Jacoby last year. And, you know, I'm sure at worst case scenario, Jacoby's your number 2 quarterback. Like, I'm sure he's excited just given what the offense could be with the weapons that they have already. It's not a bad situation to be in terms of who's going to be throwing the ball if you make no moves.
Also, Clancy, did you say you're not sure if he's going to call the plays?
No. I said I'm not sure if he's going to call the plays if he's able to call the plays for Kyler Murray. I'm saying he can call. I know I said I'm not sure if he's going to call the right plays. He's never called the plays before in a winning manner, even though some metrics, some Jets fans have just been chirping like, well, without Zach Wilson, it was actually a top 5 tiered offense. It's like, okay, let's see, Buckaroos. Let's see when really push comes to shove when you're a head coach.
So are we leaning towards this? It's going to be Jacoby Brissett for a year. Do we think? Okay, so he didn't talk about this year being a teardown or a rebuild, whatever, right? There is a world where it could get ugly next season because Jacoby Brissett is your quarterback. And do you think that they are not going to force the issue at the quarterback spot? They're going to run it. Is the plan right now, we're going to run it out there with Jacoby Brissett, knowing damn good and well we're taking a quarterback next year. That's the plan. Does everyone know that?
Bring in Jameis or somebody, bring another backup. Jacoby Brissett's going to be the starter. You bring in somebody else. You know, Mac Jones can be too expensive. Like, you got to bring what a Blaine Gabbert used to be or an Andy Dalton used to be. Just a body who's started NFL games to where it doesn't completely fall off the rails. It's not going to be Keaton Slovis. So there's 2 ways you can do it in 2027. This is way too early. But say the Cardinals pick top 5, Joe Burrow wants out, Josh Allen wants out, somebody else wants out. They have all of the capital necessary to make that meteoric shift with how deep that quarterback class is for 2027. So that's why you need as many picks as possible. I'm not saying that would happen, but Jacoby Brissett 2026, everything is on the table in 2027.
I still think he's going to take his brother's number 2 quarterback.
You think you're going to bring in Malik? But I know that they're going to make less than half of what Kyler Murray's making this year. I get that. But what, you're going to give him $10 million a year to be a backup or to compete?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to bring him in to compete, obviously, and then you're still going to draft a guy, the following year. But I think if you're looking at who can run my offense that I knows it like the back of their hand, I'm going to go and get my brother's quarterback because I know how well he's been coached in this stuff. And I need somebody, if Jacoby's not working, I need somebody that I can turn to and say, here you go. Let's open up the playbook. But I fully expect Jacoby to be able to. He's been in many systems, but
that's a glorified wildcat with Malik Willis. Like, it's going to be a hard sell on Marv and developing Michael Wilson and continuing with Trey McBride. And Malik Willis throws the ball 15 times a game. Sure. Like, that's a dangerous game to play. I understand he's a smart young man who's found success, won a bunch of games without Jordan Love, but this offense isn't that one. This is a much more talented skill position player offense, right?
Because of yes, but I mentioned this the other day on social media. Because of the relation, his brother is literally Matt LaFleur. How much of that do you think, outside of the people like Jeff Hafley who have directly worked with Malik Willis, will Mike get an unfiltered, raw review of Malik Willis? Like, no, seriously, take this guy. He's our backup. We want him here, but he's not going to start over Jordan Love. He's capable of being a starting quarterback in this league. Do you think that's an actual thing, Jamil?
Do I think he's capable?
No. Do you think Mike has a sort of access to Malik Willis that others have?
Absolutely. Him and his brother talk as much as he said, yeah, sometimes we don't talk about football. Oh, yeah, all right. You guys talk about football. These guys are football nerds. All they talk about on vacation is football. That is what it is. And quarterbacks and reads and things like that. What are you seeing? That's all they talk about. So he knows Malik Willis better than his brother knows Malik Willis because his brother has talked about it. Like, there is no secret in terms of, evaluating a quarterback in the league. All of these guys talk. So if he wants him, I'm sure they can go get him. And it's just me just kind of spitballing how I think it will play out. I don't know if it'll happen, but I would if I was a coach, but that's why I'm not a coach.
You look at, and the last thing, I know we got to shift to coordinator stuff, but I wonder if Jonathan Gannon talked to Mike LaFleur because he's in the backyard of his brother. So it's like, hey, that's a cesspool. Oh no, don't take the job when he takes it anyways. He's like, hey, I'm out. He's like, I plead the fifth. You do your own thing, homie. Like, I don't know. But if he's like, listen, it's a great place to be. I wish I was still there. I'm assuming Jonathan Gannon, if he was asked, would have nice things to say about the roster that's been constructed. I couldn't think otherwise. JG still wanted to be here. It wasn't for the money. He loved being here. So I'm sure that helped sway Mike LaFleur a little bit.
All right, let's get to the coordinators conversation. I can't believe, for the people in the chat that say Malik Willis is trash, I don't know how you watch Malik Willis this year and think to yourself, that's not worth a second
Very small
look.
Sample size.
We got to be open to the idea of who could be the quarterback next year. But moving on, the coordinator conversation. Cardinals still don't have an OC. They do have a special teams coordinator, but they don't have an OC. They don't have a DC. How much does an OC going to matter? We'll ask Jamil about that in a second here. If Mike LaFleur is going to call plays, and as well as could Wink Martindale be on his way to the Valley? That's really interesting. Let's talk about that next. Today's episode is brought to you by the folks over at TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms, and work to get you every deduction. You can upload documents, go about your day, get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing the expert is handling it all. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. So let's start off, when we talk about the coordinator conversation, let's start off with the offensive coordinator. The Arizona Cardinals have not hired an offensive coordinator yet. Mike LaFleur is going to call plays. Jamil, what is your experience, if any, with a head coach that calls the plays offensively and the OC doesn't? How much of it does the OC actually do? Like Mike LaFleur literally just came from this, where he was the offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sorry, for the Los Angeles Rams, but Sean McVay called the plays. How much does that matter? And what should they be looking for in a hire then?
You're really looking for a quarterback coach, to be honest. Like you're looking for someone to talk logistics with your quarterback. Mike LaFleur is going to call the plays. He is the offensive coordinator, regardless of, tags. If you want to, hey, we just hired our OC. That guy ain't calling the plays. That guy's going to help put the script together, and he's going to be there for input. This situation is unique because, like you said, like I spent time with the Rams, right? And while I was in those meetings, like Sean McVay is the guy that is talking. Now, this is a whole different situation. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. He's proven his system is what it is. Mike LaFleur is in a different category in terms of, like, he hasn't called it in a successful manner. And so to me, if I'm Mike LaFleur, I'm hiring somebody that I truly believe can be an asset. I'm not just hiring someone and calling them my offensive coordinator. I need someone who has seen a lot of ball and is willing to be my sounding board, maybe an older person, someone that I can kind of lean on that has specialized in this system that I can just divert to in case of, in case I need it. So this is unique with this type of situation.
Yeah. I'm more worried about the DC than the OC. I mean, if they're, if he's calling the plays, cool. Like, one of the interesting things that he said, and I'll get back to this in a sec, was when they asked if he'll be calling the plays, I think Tyler Drake, friend of the show, asked if he'd be calling the plays.
Said yes, and yes, before he could even.
He said yes, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So it's like, that means, the protege always is like, well, what if we did this, but he doesn't have the voice to say it. I feel like that's kind of where it was with Sean McVay. Now, Sean McVay is one of the best play callers in football, so you don't really have a say. But now it's like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait for people to forget East Rutherford. I can't forget for people to wait, forget about Gang Green, my time over there. So it's, with offensive coordinator, he's right. You need a crutch. I don't even know if it's somebody with experience, though, dude. Like, that's why defensively you need that old oak tree on the defensive side of the ball. You need somebody you can trust, that you don't even need to go in that room. But offensively, do you need it? If he's going to call the plays, it's like, unless it's a dude who's, a Norv Turner wants to come out of retirement and be an OC and not call plays like that. Obviously, that would never happen. But it's like, who are you going to get? I think it's going to be a younger dude. We talk, it's like this from the McVay and Shanahan splinter cell. They're just going to pull out, be like, hey, it's going to be somebody that you have no idea who this is. And this is going to be the guy who's going to be the next one. That's how these trees work. So I'm sure he has somebody in mind. I'm sure Matt, his brother, could give him somebody in mind for him, whatever it is. Like, this stuff, runs deep. So OC, I'm less worried about than DC, but there is a bigger question mark on that side.
Yeah. Really quickly, Jamil, what did you think of him calling plays? Both of us, or both you guys. What did you guys? I just, that is his. They hired him because he's the offensive guru. They hired him because they want to revolutionize this offense. I'm all for it. That's my quick 15-second spiel. You like the idea?
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know. Like the thing about it, the reality of it is, he did not call plays for the Rams.
Yeah.
And so this is not one of those situations where you're hiring Clint Kubiak, who's really calling plays for Seattle. Like this, he hasn't called plays. The time that he did, the Jets were not successful. We can chalk that up. I don't know when the last time the Jets have been successful, so we can chalk that up. But I'm fine. I'm fine with him calling the plays. I think that is why you hired him. You hired him because you are looking for the next Sean McVay, the next Mike Shanahan. Like, you're looking for that for your organization. The only way to figure out if you've got it is to allow him to call plays. And that takes a lot for a first-time head coach. And I hope that, I'm sure he knows that, just given his tree that he comes from. But who he surrounds himself with is going to be key. I want to know who the offensive line coach is going to be. That is major for a young head coach. Do you have an offensive line coach that has seen a lot of ball and is really good? And then who he appoints to offensive coordinator is going to be huge as well, because that guy is going to have his ear.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, it's great and it's exciting because the introductory press conference just happened. The real thing here is, and this is not a wet blanket thing, this is let's speak like adults, which I do on my show, is this wasn't their first choice. This wasn't their fifth choice. He wasn't their first choice, okay? This is a high wire act without a safety net. This is the Cardinals putting their raffle ticket in to the McVay and Shanahan lottery. That's it. Like, truly, that's what it is. And he's had the pedigree of 7 years in the NFC West with both those guys, which is a lot. Okay? It's a lot. And he's never called plays. All of those things can be true. So we can be excited, which we should be, because there's a head coach now. And also, calling plays sounds demonic for a first-time head coach without any sort of plan that he's never actually executed on his own. Both of those things are true. Yeah. It's exciting and it's scary, and there's zero empirical evidence that it's going to work.
Oh, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. It's
Kevin
going to be
O'Connell
scary.
didn't call plays, and Liam Cohen did not call plays.
So that's happened. They put the lottery in. No, that's not true. Liam Cohen went to Tampa Bay and revolutionized that offense for a year before going to Jacksonville.
That's right.
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell was also probably a head coach the year before, but he stayed an extra year and then went. Like, this is something where he's young. He's a LaFleur, which gave him an extra boost because of his brother, but we still have zero idea if this lottery ticket's going to work. That's all this is a lottery ticket in the McVay and Shanahan lottery.
Well, let's hope they.
So who knows?
Let's hope they put in the right numbers.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinator. We're going to go a little long on this because we spent a little too much time on the other thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Here's what we'll say about the the defensive coordinators. It's okay.
Shut up.
Talk about the defensive coordinators really quickly. The Cardinals got told no by Gus Bradley. From what we know, I think there's arguments to be made. That's not necessarily a terrible thing. There's been rumors out there for other defensive coordinators, one of them being Wink Martindale. Jamil, I think you crossed paths with Wink.
I sure did.
To be fair, Wink Martindale recently, his numbers aren't great as a defensive coordinator. I think the last time he had a top half of the defense was in 2020. I had the statistic right here, so I'd have to find it, and I can do that in a second. But still, even with all that being said, Wink Martindale is a very intriguing name. Jamil, I know you crossed paths with him. Thanks for reminding me.
In one of the biggest games of your career, he was a defensive coordinator when you guys put up 100 points on him.
That too, yeah. Listen, I'll say this. You can land Wink Martindale. That the LaFleur hire has now jumped the fence a little bit in terms of in a great way.
Yeah.
Because Wink's presence within a building is so respected. He's so knowledgeable. He's a guy that can be a head coach in the NFL, hands down. Surprised that he has not been a head coach in the NFL, but he's just very well respected, man. And I think if you pair somebody, listen, the Cardinals have weapons on defense. They have a defensive back room that can cover. They're gonna get healthy up front. Like they are gonna have the ability to run a Wink Martindale type of scheme. To me, if I'm the Cardinals, I have to land Wink Martindale. Just given I'm getting a first-time head coach who's a younger guy. I need some type of seniority in the building to kind of rally the troops when things are not, up to par with what I think they should be. I feel like you have to go with that hire.
Yeah, that's right. So I was texting somebody who's covered the Ravens for almost, 20 years, 15 years or something. And I asked him, because I don't know a whole lot about Wink's defensive scheme. He says all they do is blitz.
Yeah.
Cover zero. All they do is blitz. And that sounds bleeping sexy as hell with who the Cardinals have, from their DB room to their backers, to their off-ball backers, to everybody on the line. Like, if you want to disrupt the NFC West, that's the kind of guy you bring in. And what have I said this entire time during the offseason? They need if it's going to be a young head coach, you need that Wade Phillips. You need that old head. Wink Martindale's 62 damn years old, okay? Like, it's somebody who would be the set and forget for better or worse. And I even asked him about player development. He goes, he oversaw great talent development on the defensive side of the ball when he was there. I think it was 18 to 22 or something, 2018 to 2022 he was there. Mm-hmm. It would be a home run hire. I see all the comments about Nick Rallis. Like, on the other side with Nick Rallis, it's like,
hell no. I
don't know if that's necessarily true, but compared to, yeah. If there was somebody who would be a first-time DC, no, it's all context. Like, Nick Rallis gave up 40 burgers, multiple times after the bye week last year. 6. And Wink Martindale's not perfect, but he's been to the mountaintop. With the Ravens and DC, yeah, that's pedigree.
Can't you argue as well? That's like, that would support what the Cardinals do well. What Wink Martindale does, he's a cover zero. So what does that mean? A lot of man defense, no one over the top. And when you got guys like Denzel Burke, who had a good rookie season, Will Johnson, again, someone right there who could be very physical on the other side. When you can help, and potentially drafting someone like Ruben Bain as well, and then manufacture the blitz either artificially or getting the quarterback normally, that's kind of perfect for what the Cardinals are doing right now. It's kind of exactly what we've been asking for over the past couple of seasons. So is there any concern, though, Jamil, that maybe the game has passed him by a little bit, given the last couple of years? He hasn't had the best ranks. Here are the numbers right here. 25th in last 3 seasons, 25th in yards, 19th in points, 25th in yards, 17th in points, 27th in yards, 26th in points.
What was that with the Giants?
Giants, yes. Giants, yes. I mean, as an NFL DC, because last year he was with Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think that the game's passed him up. I think, the Giants had some injuries as well, if I remember correctly. In terms of the back end, they lost Xavier McKinney. They lost a lot of key pieces that, were he used in order to kind of manufacture his defense. I think given what the Cardinals have, like I said, a strong defensive back room, linebackers that can run, defensive linemen, between all the guys, D tackle, DN, everyone, Walter Nolan getting back healthy. Like, Wink Martindale to me is going to bring more than just X's and O's in terms of the defense. Like, he's going to bring a presence in which you need with a lot of young players. He's that guy because he's seen so much ball. He can kind of instill and develop them at a different level. And so, like I said, I mean, maybe they don't hire him, but if I am the Cardinals, like, I'm knocking on his door, and it would be kind of hard. I don't know if he's still at Michigan. Is he still at Michigan? With
Kyle
Whittingham there.
He is still at Michigan. I don't know what his contract situation.
Yeah, it might be tough to pull him away, but if you can get him here, I think your scheme. I mean, the guys that you have on your roster will fit right into his scheme, and let's call it what it is. He's a straight shooter. You need that with a first-time head coach. He's a no BS type of guy. You need that with a first-time head coach, and I think that it'll pay dividends for the Cardinals.
And he was the DC for Will Johnson his last year in college. I don't know if that matters. But
was he?
24 and 25, yeah.
Oh. I guess I didn't put those 2 and 2 together. Also, with that, yeah.
You're welcome.
Also, with that being said, is one of the things we talked about is like, I don't know if there's a lot of the toughness thing with Mike LaFleur. You make up for a lot of that I think, with Wink Martindale. And again, like Jamil says, like now it's the yin and the yang thing where like maybe you're lacking something here in terms of the toughness, the edge, the tough guy that you need for a leader. And you help blend that with Wink Martindale. And like, he's not going, no one's hiring Wink Martindale as a head coach anytime soon.
Well, and also real quick, I know we're way late, but I'm not going to write off Mike LaFleur's toughness. He was, you could see him pulling back during this introductory press conference. Like he's a lot more Sean McVay than Mike Shanahan. You could see like the demonstrative nature of him. He's going to be a terror on the sidelines. He's not going to be stoic Jonathan Gannon. He's going to be running around. He's going to probably hire Ben to be his keep me off the field guy. He's getting probably $12 an hour. Do it. Worth it. Team uniform, team garb. Do it.
Use it.
Still have to pay for your own lunches. It's the bid.
But at least I was going to say, at least me and whoever the starting quarterback are both paying for our lunches. There's no favoritism there.
That's right.
And my
Everyone
unborn
gets
child
treated the same.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if you remember the treatment of families like 2 years ago was an F-. And it's like good. And we can both drop our children off at the daycare center where there's no one really watching. They just kind of lock the door and hope everyone stays
survival
safe.
of the fittest, really.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, now that we've kind of went through a lot of it, Cardinals temperature check. Where do we feel about all of this now? Where are they heading? What is the future going to look like? Let's talk about that next. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. February can be a lot. Flowers, candy, stuffed animals, and so much to talk about relationships. And it can honestly feel like everyone else has it together in their love life. But here's the truth. Whether you're married, dating, single, or just focusing on you, most people are still trying to figure it out. No matter where you are in your romantic journey, therapy can help you find your way. It can help you get clear on what you want, what feels heavy, and how to take some pressure off. It's easy to assume everyone else has a perfect relationship, but most people are working through something as well. Therapy can help you recognize patterns that might be weighing relationships down. It can help you communicate better, set healthier boundaries, and stop carrying everything alone. The biggest thing, it reminds you that you're not behind, you're right on time. BetterHelp has licensed therapists in the U.S., and they do the initial matching work for you. So you can focus on your goals, and if you want to switch therapists, you can do that at any time. So sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp.com/lockedon. So listen, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it was 27 days from the firing of Jonathan Gannon to the hiring of Mike LaFleur. Side note, I was a little frustrated that there wasn't any reporter or whatever, someone there to ask, hey, you kept everyone in the dark for 27 days. What do you think the advantage is of that, aside from everyone slinging arrows and, going to literal bat at you? Outside
That's
of
how
that,
you lose your credentials. Sweep. Mark Dalton takes your credentials if you have something like that. So that's why.
I did not know we were name dropping on this pod.
What? He's the PR guy. That's not name dropping. He's a public figure.
He is a public figure, and they will take your credentials. That is true.
Kind of a joke.
What?
I'm joking. I mean, they're not a joke. I said I'm kind of joking. Anyways, go ahead.
With that being said, where are we at now? Now that we have the head coach, where should we be going from here? And like the better question is like, how do we not do this again 3 years from now, Clancy?
Pray.
I know you're being.
You can't answer that question right now.
I know you're joking. And it's kind of
for me, when it comes to the temperature check, it wasn't a step backwards. There were zero oh no situations. He loved his family. He thanked all of his last employers. Like he went down his entire CV for like 20 minutes, thanking everybody. Which I was like, okay, new job. Let's not look in the past anymore. But he was a consummate pro. You could tell he's a football nerd. His brother was in attendance. Family's a big deal. Like little familial things like that. Jamil, correct me if I'm wrong, because please do. But like having 10 family members for your first introductory press conference as a head coach, that's a big deal. Yeah. Like those aesthetics means he came from a rock of a family, which means he can handle adversity, which means he can handle certain things. Not saying if you didn't that you can't, but that's a big deal for me. He didn't say anything wrong. He's super excited to be here. Regardless if it was his last choice or his first, he's ready to call plays and he's ready to get to business. Like, this is a positive win. This is a win today. And that's really all I can take away from it right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we're to put Cardinals temperature check, if we want to put a temperature on it, like today, right? We're in Arizona, I think. I don't know where you guys are, but it was 85 today.
Yeah. You're in the Fountain Hills, Scottsdale gated community. We know.
Hey, this morning I had a hoodie on, right? It was kind of chilly outside. And then as the day went on, I had to take my hoodie off. I had a long sleeve shirt on, still a little too warm for the long sleeve. I don't know why I said that. All I'm saying is it feels good, right? It feels good. You're happy with where the temperature is right now. Like this isn't, you aren't just out there in shorts and a t-shirt and everything is all good. And you're not out there in a hoodie and sweats. Like you got a nice combo, shorts and a hoodie on. You feel good about where the season is going this off season, and things are all right. It's 85 and it's sunny outside. It's not 94 and burning up in February. So we're good. We're okay. You know?
And it's like, let me piecemeal that. It's like waking up like May 1st when it's getting hot, but you get up, you have your cup of coffee, you go outside when it's 73 at like 8 a.m. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And your hoodie and shorts, like it's perfect.
Yes.
It's not good. It's not bad. It's exactly what you want it to be. And you're grading on a curve here. Like you're grading on a massive curve. We got hit by a bus last year watching this team. So it's like #analysis. That's right, Miles. That's what it is. I feel good. Now for the next 3 years, who the hell knows? Nobody knows.
This is what we got to stop doing though. Like we can't think about this in terms of what this looks like in 3 years. We have to take this piece by piece. Okay. We have to look at the draft next, or we have to look at free agency next. Like whatever is next on the calendar, we've got to look at it like that and see if there's a method to the madness. Those type of things give you hope. Now, if they just completely bomb the offseason after this hire, it's like everyone's going to be down. But let's look at it piece by piece. Let's see where they go in free agency, see what they do in the draft. From there, we'll be able to kind of tell what trajectory this team is on and what Mike LaFleur thinks of the roster and where he feels like they need to improve before heading into the season.
That's right.
I'm cautiously optimistic. There were a couple of eye rolls today. I don't like when I agree with Clancy, but I agree with him. Whenever he named every place he ever worked with, I was like, okay, man, I get it. You have an extensive background. To me, it was almost like I was a part of the Jordan Knott press conference with the Phoenix Suns when they hired Jordan Knott, and everyone was kind of questioning his credentials to be there outside of him just having a relation to the owner and the Michigan State connection. And it felt like in that press conference, Jordan Knott was trying to convince you, no, I'm the guy for the job. And it felt like Mike LaFleur was kind of doing that as well. And there was another eye roll where he was like, guys, Michael Bidwell wants to win as much as you do. I'm like, okay, does he? Let's be honest. You like, I'm not asking you to say he doesn't. I'm asking you to not say anything about it at all. So outside of those two things, I'm cautiously optimistic. My next thing is, can you just support him? Like, can we let's give it one go of bring Wink Martindale in here. The OC as well. Bring a seasoned OC in here. I know like Clancy brings up North Turner. That guy's 100, but like bring in North Turner in here. Someone who's seen the game, someone that you could, whoever it is, I'm just naming names, but someone that you can lean on. And I'll be much more optimistic a week or two from now once we know who the coordinators are. But if they force feed Nick Rawlis on him and another first-time OC, I will be a little concerned. But for now, it is a win. And for Cardinals fans, I do think you just need to celebrate the one win today, and we'll see how long that goes for.
Yeah, I mean, before you go, like, you're not going to get a seasoned vet OC in here if he's not calling the plays. It's not going to happen.
I guess I mean, like, did Mike McCoy call plays for the Titans before Brian Callahan was gone? Someone like I don't want Mike McCoy in here.
Mike McCoy always called plays. There was he was the head coach twice. Okay. He had the highest scoring offense in the history of football at the time with Peyton Manning that year. So yeah.
And I don't want Mike McCoy here, but if you could just get someone in here who you can lean on, who's also seen competence, and just be like, no, we don't do that here. This is what I would do.
I think like if it's Wink, if they can get Wink Martindale, Jamil.
We need an offensive line coach, Jamil.
You can't even keep your shakes from melting, bro. And it's not even summer. What are we doing?
Guys, that would be great for him to lean on.
That's the last time I'm going to say it. So you get I'd rather have a defensive old head than an offensive guy. You want Mike LaFleur unfiltered. For better or worse, this is his offense. You want zero other impact outside of maybe a backup dancer, which would be a McVay or Shanahan disciple, of whom we don't know the name yet, potentially. That's why I'm saying it's like, if you're going to dive, they're already in the deep end without any water wings. There's no way to hedge it now. That's why you got to get the older guy on the defensive side of the ball, which is the only downside to Nick Rallis is like, you can't have a bunch of young bloods again. You just can't. So the Wink Martindale thing is fascinating.
I won't be upset. I won't be upset if they just keep taking also from the McVay tree. There's some, we've seen Aubrey Pleasant thrown out there. We've seen
a hell of a coach. Aubrey Pleasant is a hell of a coach.
So there you go. There's a guy out there that, like, you just can't go wrong. And there was another guy, for the offensive side of it for Texans, whatever, regardless. Just go take from competent coaches. Like, that'll also make me feel better. Take from McVay, take from Ryans, and honestly, bring Wink Martindale in here, because I just think that is the type of edge you would need. With that being said, guys, sorry, Clancy.
No, one last thing. Gus Bradley was a huge mind that they circumvented. Like, he was a head coach for a while. He was coordinator. I think he was with Indy. He was a coordinator with the Chargers. Like, he's been around, but dude, his defense isn't asking. Like, look at his numbers. The Cardinals dodged a bullet just because he's a household name. They dodged a bullet.
And also, he's not going to call plays in Tennessee. So it's like a crisis averted for everyone. Hit that like, share, subscribe button, guys. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can find those in the episode description on YouTube or on audio podcast as well down below. Appreciate you guys being here with us. We will be here on Friday once again at 4 p.m. Maybe I'll be here. I don't know. I'm on baby watch, guys. So it might just be you guys when that happens. But until then, appreciate you guys being here. And until next time, it's been the Cardinal Squad Show. See you guys Friday at 4 p.m.